multiplication of fractions. First example, we have 2/3 times 3/5. So I'm going to go ahead and write this out. We have 2/3. We want to multiply that by 3/5. So that means we're going to take 2 and multiply it by 3. And then divide that by 3 times 5. Well, that gives us 6/15, which actually reduces to lowest terms 2/5. Now, as you can see here, there might be a quicker way of being able to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat example 1 here. So let's take a look at example 1 down here. So we have 2/3 times 3/5. Okay, now if you notice that when we multiply these together, we end up getting 2 times 3 and 3 times 5. So when we're multiplying, that means that we can simplify what they have in common. So this 3 and that 3 become a 1. So therefore, we would get 2 times 1 over 1 times 5, which then gives us 2/5. So that will avoid us having to simplify this 6/15 to 2/5 because it'll already be in reduced terms. So let's take a look at this example here. We have 4/9 times 4/5. So we have 4/9 times 4/5. Now, if you look at these numbers, they do not have anything in common. So we're going to take 4, multiply that by 4. We're going to take 9 and multiply that by 5. So since we can't simplify anything from here, we're just going to multiply it out. So 4 times 4 is 16, and 9 times 5 is 45, and we cannot reduce that any further. Okay, now let's take a look at this example here. We have 7/20 times 2/5 times 3/14. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite these numbers as 7/20 times 2/5 times 3/14. Okay, now we can simplify from here. My recommendation is to write this as multiplication in the numerator and multiplication in the denominator. So what I mean by that is we have 7 times 2 times 3. All of those numbers are prime, so we're going to leave that as it is. Now, what's the prime factorization for 20? Well, this is 2 times 10, which is 2 and then 5. So we know that 20 can be written as 2 times 2 times 5. And then we have this 5 underneath the 2, so that's times 5. Times, what's the prime factorization for 14? Well, that's 2 times 7. So that's times 2 times 7. Now what we want to do is we want to simplify everything that we can simplify to 1. So we know that we can get this 2 and that 2. And we know that this 7 and that 7. So therefore, in the numerator, we have 1 times 1 times 3. In the denominator, we have 2 times 5 times 5 times 2. And again, we have this 1 here and that 1 here. Now let's multiply across. We have 1 times 3, which is 3. And then we have 1 times 2 times 5. 2 times 5 is 10. 5 times 2 is 10 times 1. And 10 times 10 is going to give us 100. So therefore the answer is 3 over 100. Okay, let's try another one here. So we have 2/6 times 3/4. So I'm going to rewrite this as 2/6. I'm going to use the other multiplication sign, which is the dot, times 3/4. Okay? And so again, we're going to write this in prime factorization form as multiplication. So in the numerator, 2 is already in prime form. 3 is already in prime form, so this is 2 times 3. Now, what is the prime factorization of 6? Well, that's 2 times 3. So we're going to replace 6 with 2 times 3. And we know the prime factorization of 4 is 2 times 2, so we're going to multiply that by 2 times 2. And now we're going to simplify. And so what can we simplify? We know that this 2 and that 2 become a 1. And this 3 and that 3 become a 1. So in the numerator, we have 1 times 1. In the denominator, we have 1 times 1 times 2 times 2. When we multiply that all out, 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 1 times 2 times 2 is 4. So the answer is 1/4.